Yes? No?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Rick Knabb, Director at the National Hurricane Center, talking to you live from our facility here in Miami. We just completed doing our morning media availability, our media pool, where we pool producer and other resources to talk to a number of national and local media outlets. And thank you so much to our media partners for letting us come on the air with you, because we not only talked to some national networks, but several local affiliates in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina, really helping to get the word out about the fact that the hurricane drought for Florida is decidedly over, and the landfall of a hurricane is in many ways just the beginning of the event. If you see where Hermine is headed, very heavy rains spreading into southern Georgia. That's going to head into the Carolinas, and we've got several days more that we on the eastern part of the United States will be contending with both wind and water impacts from Hermine, both coastal and inland. Now, a lot of questions that many folks might have about what is going to happen in the mid-Atlantic and northeastern states after the heavy rainfall and tropical storm conditions in the Georgia and the Carolinas area. Well, we are contemplating right now the possibility of issuing our prototype storm surge watch for some portion of the eastern seaboard. So I want to take you over to the folks in the storm surge unit who are collaborating actively with the local forecast offices along the eastern part of the United States on where that prototype storm surge watch might go. And again, as we did yesterday, we're going through our tropical analysis and forecast branch. Again, we are two centers in one here in the National Hurricane Center, hurricane operations in that direction. Here we are in TAF B, where we do marine forecasts over millions of square miles for the offshore waters and the high seas. But in our technology and science branch, that's where we have our storm surge unit. And we have had folks working all night, all day, for many days now as Hermine approached Florida, and now we're turning our attention to the eastern seaboard. And I'm going to head into our fishbowl here, where we have a lot of experts working on a direct collaboration with several different Weather Service local forecast offices in the eastern region of the National Weather Service. And as always, our storm surge unit leader, Jamie Rome, is here, and I've got the microphone out so we can hear everybody really well today. And Jamie, let's talk about what we are doing with several different forecast offices here this morning with pretty cool technology that is enabling us to do things not just differently for storm surge, but differently than we've ever done warnings before from the Hurricane Center.
Well, this is a historic storm or historic moment for the storm surge unit here at the National Hurricane Center and for the Weather Service, as we deploy for the first time ever new technology to help us really hone in on the storm surge threat. So what's happening this morning, as the threat in the Florida Panhandle goes down, we turn our attention further up the coast to determine what sort of impacts from storm surge could happen up the mid-Atlantic coast through the northeast coast later this weekend and early next week as the storm pushes northward.
And there's a concept of operations that we're following here in terms of letting our local forecast office colleagues know ahead of time, hey, we're going to get on the chat with you in a little while. We got on the hurricane hotline at 6 o'clock this morning, say, hey, later this morning we're going to be getting new storm surge modeling output. We're going to collaborate with you digitally and via the chat. And what are some of the forecast offices who have the local expertise telling us with the general expertise, and how's that interplay leading to potentially highlighting certain vulnerable areas?
It's going really, really well, especially for the first time that this type of technology has been used. So the WFOs are really refining and getting into the details, like which little river or which little tributary or which little community is going to be impacted, whereas we're starting at the 10,000 foot level here at the Hurricane Center. They drill down and get it really, really refined and precise.
And let's sing the praises of some of the folks here in the storm surge unit. Not everybody's here because some of them had to work overnight. What are the different types of expertise that the folks in the storm surge unit have? They're not just meteorologists like you and me, right?
Oh, you have to wear many hats in storm surge. You have to be good at oceanography, meteorology, and programming and GIS.
So we've really utilized all of these different types of expertise and new ways of collaborating with the local forecast offices that have been worked on for years to get us to this point. Now, what do we do with this information once we disseminate it? And again, we are actively working on the possibility of one of the prototype storm surge watches that we issued for Florida now being utilized for the eastern seaboard. Talk about how we interact with the emergency managers, what they do with this information.
Well, the first thing they're going to want to know is, what does this mean? So in addition to help us highlight the areas that we're most concerned about, that's like the first thing. Okay, so this is where we're most concerned in this area. Then we can talk about what this means in terms of the potential for life-threatening storm surge.
Yeah. So what I want to do next is take you down to the Hurricane Liaison Team where we have our permanent FEMA presence, and that's where we do a lot of the briefings utilizing the new products that we generate here from the Storm Surge Unit. I do want to say thank you to the folks in the Storm Surge Unit who've been working very long hours, and we may have many days ahead. Great that you got a good night's sleep last night, and let's pace ourselves. Okay, let's head this way. I'm going to go back through Taft B, and while I'm headed that way, want to let you know that here in Taft B, we usually have 3 people on shift at any given time, and during this event we've had 4. You have to increase the staffing because the workload increases when we have a landfalling tropical system. Now we're going back through hurricane operations, and again, this is where we do the media pool, and I often have to put a calendar invitation on my calendar for everything I'm going to do in a given day, whether it's a media pool briefing or it is an emergency management briefing. We have to schedule that as the day goes on so that we can reach out to all of our partners in an organized manner and not miss anybody. So one thing that helps me do that is to utilize our permanent FEMA presence here at the National Hurricane Center, utilizing the Hurricane Liaison Team. And they help facilitate the video teleconference calls, the audio conference calls that we have with federal, state, and local emergency managers. So for example, at 8:30 this morning, we did a video teleconference with FEMA headquarters, talking directly to them from the Hurricane Center, and they could not only hear me, but they can see me. And Dennis, if you pull around here, you can see me on the VTC screen there, and I have the ability, just like if I'm on television, I have the ability to annotate this screen and show a number of the satellite depictions, model output, public products that we would show on television. And this is a really fantastic technology that allows emergency managers to ask us questions directly and not only hear what we have to say, but can see what our products are showing. And with the advent of these new storm surge products, it's all the more important for us to be able to show emergency managers where the storm surge could occur as they work through critical evacuation decision making at the local level, supported by the states, supported by FEMA. So we are, again, going to have a very active day here in the HLT with briefing federal, state, and local emergency managers. Pay attention to what that 11 a.m. advisory has. When it comes out later this morning, we'll be having a lot more to say about what the potential impacts could be in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. But in Georgia and the Carolinas, turn around, don't drown. Heavy rainfall already occurring, headed your way. Stay safe, everyone. Talk to you next time.